Hi, my name is Andrew Molina. I'm the Regional Sales Director for the Gulf Southwest at Mobile Air and Power Rentals. And today we're going to be talking about our spot coolers and some common questions that are asked about these units. To determine what size spot cooler you need, first, you take the square footage of the room that you're trying to cool. 1 ton cools about 400 square feet. So you take the square footage divided by 400, and that will give you how many tons you need to cool that space. To determine how many spot coolers you'll actually need in the space, there's a couple of more things that you have to take into consideration. Number one, again, you take the square footage of the space and divide it by 400. That'll give you the true tonnage. The second thing that you have to consider is the people that are going to be in the space. Why do I say that? Well, each person emits about 900 BTUs. Each ton is 12,000 BTUs. So if we have 20 people, you have to multiply that by 900, that gives you 18,000 BTUs. Then divide that by 12,000, which should give you approximately about 1.5 tons. So you have to add that tonnage to the original tonnage that you got, which will determine how many spot coolers you'll need. A really good question has been asked. Can these units be used indoor as well as outdoor? And although these are very well-built units, they're designed for indoor use. The elements outside, such as rain and wind, can really affect the unit. So indoor use is recommended only. The unit actually discharges 2 types of air, hot air and cold air. The cold air goes through the refrigeration system and comes out through here. The hot air, which comes off the condenser, really comes through here. And this is typically ducted through the ceiling tile. The electrical connections for each unit will vary depending on the tonnage. On these types of units, the 1 and 1.5 ton, you can use a regular 15 amp circuit, which is an everyday household plug. Once you get into the higher tonnages, which is the 2 ton, 5 ton, 10 ton, then you get into voltages such as 208 single phase or 3 phase, or 480 3 phase. One of the issues you may have is tripping circuit breakers, especially on these smaller units, 1.5 to 1 tons. They're connected into regular household plugs. These units use 15 amps. So if you have anything else plugged into that plug or is on that same circuit, it will flip the breaker. On a typical unit, the water is drained through a condensate bucket, which is located on the side of the unit. You pull the bucket out, you dump the water out, place the bucket back into the unit. Another option is that you can add a condensate pump. And what that does is that when it fills up, it will drain the water to a nearby drain. Once your unit is installed, the only thing that you need to do is check the condensate bucket. If you have a condensate pump, there's really nothing you need to do. If your spot cooler should stop working, there's a couple of things you should check. First, the condensate bucket. If the condensate bucket is full, it will shut off the compressor. Remove the condensate bucket, dump the water, and place it back into the unit. Number 2, disconnect the unit, remove the back electrical panel, and reset the breaker. Plug it back in. If you should not have any power or it should not be working, at that time, contact your Mobile Air and Power Rentals qualified technician. So what do all the buttons do on the unit? First, you have your power button. You press the button for 3 seconds, that'll turn on the unit. Press it for another 3 seconds, that will turn off the unit. The next button is the blower. The blower is basically the speed. You have a high, you have a low. The following button is the spot cool. This has a target temperature of 32 degrees, and in most conditions, it will continue to blow cold air. The last button is a room cool. Room cool actually senses the temperature of the room and will shut off at the target temperature. If you should not be getting the desired temperature from your spot cooler, there's a few things you may want to check. Number 1, check the condensate bucket. If it's full, it will turn off the compressor. Another reason is it could be a blown fuse. If those two are not the case, then you should call a Mobile Air and Power Rentals qualified technician. Spot coolers are very mobile, and the question has been asked, can I move my unit? The answer is yes. So what you have to do is, number 1, unplug the unit. Make sure you take the ceiling tile off. Move the unit, reconnect the unit to the ceiling tile, and plug it back in. Turn it on, and you have cold air. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to Mobile Air and Power Rentals. If you should be interested in any of our other equipment, please check out our Equipment 101 page at mobileair.com.